Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagwat Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 44. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. Word to word meanings, please repeat. Bhoga, material enjoyment. Aishwarya, opulence. Prasaktanam, those who are so attached. Taya, by such things. Apahrita chetasam, bewildered in mind. Vyavasayatmika, fixed determination. Buddhihi, devotional service of the Lord. Samadhau, in the controlled mind. Na, never. Vidhiyate, does take place. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of take place. Please repeat. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti says, Samyak adhiyate asmin atma tattva yadhatmyam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is called samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment, nor for those who are bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jai Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna mentions a very important point here. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. If one is too attached, prasakta means very attached. If we are very attached by these two things. What are these two things? Bhoga and Aishwarya. What is bhoga? भोग लगाते हैं भगवान को. So bhoga means enjoyment or opulence. Aishwarya means wealth or opulence. So if we are attached to these two things, bhoga and Aishwarya, prasaktana means very attached. Taya apahrita chetasam, our chetas, our chetana means our consciousness, is apahrita, is stolen by these two things, wealth and opulence. Taya, for those people, vyavasayatmika buddhihi, spiritual intelligence. Samadhi, fixed mind, na vidhiyate, does not take place. So Prabhupada translates this as, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and those who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So once I was talking about, somebody asked me about Samadhi in a satsang program. I was telling about Samadhi. And then there was another person who came for satsang, who came new. So he said, Prabhuji, my son is always in Samadhi. Hey, how old is your son? He is hardly 12 years old. Oh, your son already is in Samadhi? Yes, Prabhuji. How your son is in Samadhi? When I knock the door, when I give him food, when I shout at him, he doesn't even flinch. So what is he doing? He's playing video games. He's fully in Samadhi. He doesn't worry about food or sleep or hunger. So that Samadhi is different. Here what Samadhi is, when the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is called Samadhi. Not the material Samadhi, which will end, he'll forget his homework and then it will result in a lot of misery. So on and so forth, a lot of mental health and so many things. So material Samadhi will yield distress. Spiritual Samadhi will yield happiness. So there are two birds on this tree. So this one bird was sitting in this lower branch and it is going on and pecking some of these fruits. Sometimes these fruits are sweet Sometimes it's not ripe and it is very hard and it is hurting its beak. And sometimes they are bitter, sour. And it is sometimes happy and it is sometimes crying. It is sometimes suffering. And all this while, the bird above it is calling this bird below it, but this bird below has not even looked up because it's too busy pecking these fruits, trying to get some enjoyment. And one day when it became frustrated, suddenly it heard, oh, I hear this sound for so long, but I could not raise my head. Let me see who is here. So this bird is calling, hey, what are you doing up there? And it said, there is this honey that is the beekeeper shooed away all these honey bees, but the honey is left over. And I am just enjoying this honey. I don't have to bother about these fruits. And I've been calling you to enjoy this honey. And you are going on pecking this one fruit after the other, sometimes enjoying, sometimes crying, sometimes suffering. Come and enjoy this nectar. I'm happily enjoying. So this fruit above, or the bird above, is said to be in that samadhi state. Or when you are in spiritual samadhi, you're always drinking the nectar of spiritual happiness, in front of which this temporary material pleasures, displeasures, happiness, distress, these dualities don't affect you anymore. You're not dependent on that for your happiness, because there is constant supply of higher happiness. Like when you go to the king, you have a problem, you have a debt. The king asks you, what do you want? I can give you. He's in a very charitable mood. And you have a 100 rupees problem. My dear king, please give me 100 rupees. The king is willing to give you 1 lakh, I'm saying in Indian terminology, but the king is ready to give $1 million. He's in a very charitable mood. But you only ask $100. Tomorrow you will get another $100 problem. Day after you will get another $100 problem. But if you get $1 million, all your $100 problems are solved. You don't have any more this simple, single, everyday $100 problem, because you have been granted that higher benediction. So when you aspire for something higher, spiritual happiness, all these lower problems will go away. But Bhagavad Gita says, what is holding us from this? So in this verse, Krishna says, my attachments are holding. Sometimes people say, Prabhuji, when I ask, why don't you come to temple? Let all my obligations go away, then I'll come. Are the attachments holding me, or am I holding my attachments? More often it is me who is holding those attachments. So you know how they catch these monkeys? One method they use is, they keep a jar, a glass jar, with nice cookies inside it, nice sweets inside it. And the opening to this jar is very small, the neck of this jar. So the monkey can put its arm inside, can hold that sweet. When it tries to take out its hand out of the jar, it cannot, because it gets stuck. Because the neck of the jar is very tight. This hand gets stuck. But the monkey wouldn't give up. The jar is very heavy. It cannot lift and run away. And so the man who planted this jar, he sees that the monkey now got caught, cannot run away, and he's coming to catch the monkey. The monkey wouldn't give up the sweet. Even though it's trying to pull it out, even though its blood is oozing, scratching, the man is coming to catch him. But the monkey wouldn't give up. The moment it lets go the sweet, it can take the hand away. It knows it. But it wouldn't give up. And then he gets caught. So this is the predicament all of us are in. Krishna is saying in Bhagwat Gita, you have to let go to get freed from this world. Like sometime somebody sent me a cartoon. It's a very instructive cartoon. So this man is hanging from the cliff. There is a branch of the tree, and he is holding on to the one branch, and he is hanging off the cliff. The tree is at the edge of the cliff. He is about to fall. And so this other man who is trying to rescue him, he came and held his hand. He is trying to pull him from the danger. But he is not able to pull him because he is very heavy. You know why he is heavy? Because in his other hand, he is only holding on to his backpack with a lot of food, laptop, the water bottles. It's very heavy. He's saying, let go of that bag. No, I want to hold it. I need it. He's not able to pull. So it's like that. We want to hold on to things, and as a result, even Krishna cannot help. Bhagavad Gita instructions also cannot help. If you want to hold on to things, you want. Prabhupada used to tell a very instructive story about the marriage party. There was a bridegroom's side who planned to go for the marriage to the bride's village. So in Bengal, there are so many rivers. Like rivers are considered like highways. So they had to cross the river to go to the bride's place. So they planned, okay, in the morning we will conduct this marriage. Tomorrow evening we will conduct this marriage. Tonight we will go to their village, crossing the river. We will have a nice boat ride. And, it's a dark moon day and all of us will happily sleep. And morning we will go there and we will have some refreshments, and evening we will have the marriage. So all of these people got into the boat, and so all of them were socializing, and they had nice dinner, nice breeze was happening, and the boatman started to row the boat, and nice breeze, and all of them quickly were talking and then went to sleep in that pleasant atmosphere. And then they woke up, and to their shock, they did not reach the destination, much less the destination. They did not even move from their place where they started. And all these people, the responsible people, they got together. My God, what a disaster. Let's go catch this guy who is rowing the boat. They held him to his collar, and what did you do? This is an important marriage. You spoiled the whole thing. And he said, so sorry, my dear sir, I didn't do anything wrong. I've been rowing the boat the whole night. And then suddenly these workers went and saw that, the anchor is not let go. The boat's anchors have to let go. Only then the boat will move. So if we are strongly hooked to our sense gratification, they are considered to be the anchors. If we are rooted to our bhoga and aishwarya, then how much ever we try to make progress, we cannot make progress. So in Bhagavatam, you know this king, how many of you know this king Chitraketu? Some of you know. So this Chitraketu, he was a very powerful king. But he had one want. What was that? He did not have a son. He married several wives, several queens. All his attempts were futile. He did not have a son. So there was one Muni, Angira Muni, who came to visit him. And so this Chitraketu, instead of asking some spiritual instructions, when Angira asked, "What do you want?" he said, "I have everything in life except a son. So if I get the son, my life will be set. My life will be happy." And Angira looked at him. He knew that in his destiny there was no son. But he was so desperate. He was begging, pleading, "Angira, if you can bless me with a son, that will be really great." And so Angira could not deny that. He wanted to teach him a lesson. He said, "Okay, I can grant you this benediction of getting a son, but I'll warn you something." What is that? He said, "This son will bring you great amount of happiness and also tremendous amount of distress." And then he thought, it's okay, boys are a little naughty, a little irresponsible. It's okay. If I get the son, I'll forget. With that happiness, all sorrows will be forgotten. He said, "All right, no worries. Just give me the benediction." "Okay, I give you this magic potion and you can have your queen eat this and then you can be blessed with a son." And so they do that, and very soon the first wife, first queen, she conceives, and very soon the son is born. And the king, happiness knows no bounds. He is in cloud 9. He's always pampering his child, looking at his child, petting his child. And he is so proud of his first wife, and he started to ignore the other wives. And these other wives, they thought they are doomed. They are not going to get any attention from the king. They are going to be sent away from the kingdom and their life will be ruined. And they couldn't tolerate that. You see how this material world is so horrible that envy and jealousy and these kind of things can make people do crazy things. And so they got this crazy, horrible idea to kill the child. Because of this child, the king is neglecting us. And so they make this evil plan to poison this child, and the child dies. And the nurse, she recognizes that the child is not moving anymore. She starts to scream and shout. And the wife comes and realizes the boy is dead. And the king comes and they fall down and start to cry inconsolably, pitifully. Everybody is in the moroseness, lamentation. But the child wouldn't come back, obviously. And at that time, Angira, this time, comes along with Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the great spiritual master who teaches Krishna consciousness to everyone. So there, Bhagavatam explains why Angira did not bring Narada Muni the first time around? Why he brought Narada Muni only after that incident? That's a question I like to pose to all you intelligent people. Why Angira did not bring Narada Muni? If he wanted to preach to him, he could have brought him along with him the first time. Why he did not bring the first time? Why he brought with him the subsequent time? Any guesses? Yes. Because the king is not in a mood to listen. He's too much attached to his bhoga and aishwarya, his own plans of happiness. So Bhagavatam says like this, very powerful statements. Prabhupada writes in that purport. When Angira had first come to visit King Chitraketu, he did not bring Narada with him. However, after the death of Chitraketu's son, Angira brought Narada to instruct king about Bhakti Yoga. The difference was that in the beginning, Chitraketu was not in a temperament of renunciation. But after the death of his son, when he was overwhelmed by his great plight, he was awakened to the platform of renunciation. Who was awakened to the platform of renunciation? Chitraketu. Regarding the falsity of this material world and material possessions. It is only at this stage that Bhakti Yoga can be instructed. As long as one is attached to material enjoyment, Bhakti Yoga cannot be understood. And then Prabhupada explains, Srila Prabhupada came to the West, particularly to the America. In which year he came? Anybody? 1965. So it's been like 60 years since he came. And obviously he succeeded, tremendous success he achieved. Who were the people largely who took to Krishna consciousness? Were they old people or young people? Why, according to Srila Prabhupada, he himself mentions in this purport, which I will read of course, but why, according to Srila Prabhupada, why he succeeded in impressing upon them this Krishna consciousness? They were called in one English terminology, quote unquote, it starts with the word letter H, hippies. What are the hippies? Who have revolted against the status quo. They got frustrated with the sense gratificatory style of living in opulence. They sort of developed kind of renunciation. So Prabhupada writes this. Countries at the present moment, at that time he was writing, because the youth in the West have reached the stage of vairagya or renunciation. They are practically disgusted with material pleasure from material sources. And this has resulted in a population of hippies throughout the Western countries. Now, if these young people are instructed about Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness, the instructions will certainly be effective. As soon as Chitraketu understood the philosophy of Vairagya Vidya, the knowledge of renunciation, he could understand the process of Bhakti Yoga. So this Bhakti Yoga is nothing but Vairagya Vidya. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshardhamekah Purushah Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharirādhari krupam buddhim yas tamaham prapadye. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came as a devotee, who is Krishna himself, who came as devotee of Krishna. When did he come, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How many years ago he came? 500 years ago. At which part? In which part of the world? Orissa, Bengal, West Bengal. So Krishna left 5,000 years ago in Dwapara Yuga, but he came back in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not many know about it. That is why he is hidden incarnation, Channa avatar. He did not advertise himself as incarnation, but he advertised as a devotee of Krishna to teach people how to engage in devotional service to Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago and taught this Bhakti Yoga, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is one of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he composed this shloka that I recited. He said, this Bhakti Yoga is nothing but Vairagya Vidya. Vairagya means what? Renunciation. To give one example of renunciation, they call Shamshan Vairagya. Anybody heard that word? Shmashan Vairagya. Shamshan. What is that? What do you think about that? Correct. Right. So when you go to crematorium, when you go to the obituary, when you go to this kind of events where somebody dies, somebody passes away, so the mood is very somber, and you kind of the reality starts to hit. Ultimately, this is what it ends in. Everybody has to die. That day has to come, isn't it? Nobody can live forever. And nobody knows when that day is going to come. And all the hard work we are doing, all the kinds of gimmicks we are doing, hoops we are jumping, is going to end in this. We are not going to take anything. We have to leave everything and go. Is this what life is? So a kind of renunciation sets in, isn't it? We start to feel a little renounced. What is the use of all this kind of endeavor that we do? But how long that lasts typically? It doesn't last long. Maybe one day, maybe a few hours even. Because we have not developed that attachment to Krishna. In life, you are either attached to Maya or Krishna. You are either attached to this material illusory world or to God. Like you are holding something in your hand. Like the kids, we know. If the kid is holding on to a toy, and other kids are all crying. So what do? Hey, share it with them. No, he is not sharing. So what do? So bring another toy. Hey, play with this for some time. Share it with them. That means the tendency of the kid is he has to hold on to something. Can the kid stay without holding on to anything? The same nature is for all of us. We cannot remain idle. Without holding on to anything, we cannot be. Without thinking of anything, we cannot be. That is why some of the spiritual processes, some of these spiritual institutions, they say, when I asked somebody in my office, hey, what is your process? Our spiritual meditation is to think of nothing. So, to think of nothing itself is another thought. I have to think of nothing, I have to think of nothing. Say, if I told you, don't think of a pink elephant, what will you now think? Right? Even though it doesn't exist, you'll paint pink and you'll think. Because that is naturally, that's how our mind works. Naturally, it has to think. Our mind's natural duty is to think. Our natural duty is to desire. We cannot become thoughtless. We cannot become desireless. I want to become desireless is my desire. To become thoughtless is my thought. So becoming free of attachments is an illusion. So you have to be attached to something. So you better attach to Krishna, which automatically means detached from Maya. This is the process of Bhagavad Gita. The bona fide process, natural process. Krishna gives therefore the instruction. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mameva ishyasi yuktva atmanam matparayanaha. What does he say? Manmana, always think of me. Bhava madbhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, you offer your respects to me. In this way, you will develop your love to me. And when you love somebody, if you love God, you won't love dog. Of course, it doesn't mean don't love dogs. That love for God is now in this world reflected as love for dogs, love. People, unfortunately, in this world, they love everything except cow. They love dogs, but they eat cows. See how unfortunate it is. So this material world, you can only love certain people, which will result in hating certain people. You love your community, you hate the other community. Caste fights, state fights, country fights. Now fighting with planets. So there cannot be perfect love in this world unless you repose your love for Krishna. When you love Krishna, you love everyone. There was this hunter, Mrugari. You know Mrugari? Anybody? This Mrugari was such a heinous hunter. He would kill animals. Hunter means kill animals. But his lineage, he has been trained in a particular way of killing. He would hit them in a particular spot that they wouldn't die. And they would be wriggling in pain. And he would get happiness out of that kind of a sadism. See how I have hit this animal, now it's not dying, not living. That kind of a crazy, horrible hunter he was. So Narada Muni saw this animal was wriggling in pain, and then he saw this Mrugari inflicting pain, and he went to the Mrugari and told him, "What are you doing?" And he said, "No, this is how I have been trained from my father, who is trained from his father." And then Narada Muni said, "You will go to hell. I cannot even tell you how horrible hellish punishment is awaiting for you." And Mrugari said, "What should I do?" And Narada Muni said, "Do you have confidence in me?" Because a saintly person, everybody loves a saintly person. Even in some of you of my generation, when we see old movies, Narada Muni is there. From the demons to the devotees, everybody loves him. Because he is, by nature, he is a very good person. Good intending person. So he had this faith in Narada Muni. Okay, I'll do what you say. So he said, first you give up your bow and arrow. And then he was reluctant. This is my livelihood. Having faith on you doesn't mean you take away my livelihood. No, please have faith in me. Give up your bow and arrow. I'll send you whatever you need. So he gave up his bow and arrow. He took him to an ashram at the bank of this sacred river. He said, this is Tulsi plant. This is the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now you start chanting this Hare Krishna mantra and chant near the Tulsi plant, and all your necessities will be fulfilled, you will be happy. And so he had faith and he started doing that. And very soon the word spread in their village. This crazy Mrugari has become a great saint. And let's go see him. How he has become a saint. And naturally, when you go visit a temple or a saintly person, you go take some fruits or grains. So he was getting all of that without having to work hard. Much more than what he was getting earlier. And then he said, my Guru Maharaj is sending all of this, see. And then after a few days, Narada Muni came to visit him. And now Mrugari was going to receive Narada Muni. And Narada Muni observed that he was not walking normally. He was jumping and he was moving around, shaking, coming in a different crisscross way. And Narada Muni was not able to understand why he was acting weird. Any guesses why he was doing that? Huh? He was happy, okay. Very good. There were so many ants on the path, and while walking also, he was making sure he was stamping on any of those ants. He was concerned about their life. See, the person who he was, how sadistic he was to kill these poor creatures, not kill properly. To see them suffer, he was taking pleasure. Now he was not even willing to kill even an ant. So when you develop Krishna consciousness, then naturally you become saintly and you become good qualities develop in you. All the good qualities develop in you. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. One who has akinchana bhakti to Bhagavati, sarvair gunaihi, all good qualities develop in him. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoradhena sati dhavato bahihi. But if you don't, you may be a very good person in the eyes of certain individuals, but you are a very bad person in the eyes of certain other individuals. You can never be perfect. So only a truly Krishna conscious person can become perfect, can get all the great qualities eventually by dint of practice of Krishna consciousness. So the good thing is that even though Krishna is here saying, because of your attachments you are not progressing in bhakti, but the other way is also true, which is if you directly take bhakti, even though you are not free from attachments, by the power of bhakti, all your attachments, all your sense gratificatory spirit, everything will wane and natural renunciation will develop in the heart. So in other words, you don't have to wait to become renounced like a yogi or a sannyasi and then I'll take bhakti. No, the other way is also powerful, which is you take to bhakti right away, and by the power of bhakti, by the attraction of Krishna, the attraction of Maya, you become renounced from it. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments on what we discussed? Okay, so now we'll be distributing some beads for chanting Hare Krishna mantra. One mala we will chant. Anybody coming for the first time? Hare Krishna, welcome. Hare Krishna. So now we'll be distributing these beads, and each bead consists of 108. Can I get one mala? Okay. So that I can explain to people. So, Durgeshwar, can you give to the newcomers first? Here, some people. You also coming for the first? You had. Okay, so this mala has 108 beads. So it is said that there are many Upanishads, but 108 important Upanishads. So Upanishads are like the cream of the Vedic literature. And by chanting this mala, this Hare Krishna mantra, 108 times you chant, you are getting the benefit of studying and living the life of all these Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. How wonderful is it? This Hare Nama, the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna is non-different from his sound. This Hare Krishna mantra is non-different from Krishna. The Upanishads are glorifying the name of Krishna. So if you chant this holy name, you are satisfying all the verdict of the Vedic literature. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyam, Krishna says. Of all the Vedas I am to be known. And the best way of knowing Krishna in this age is by chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See how powerful the mantra is. This is the mantra very, very rarely given in previous ages. But by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Parampara, disciplic succession, now represented by Srila Prabhupada, they have given this holy name to everyone, even though we are not qualified, even though it is given to the great saintly people after performing so many austerities. It is revealed in their hearts. But now it has been freely distributed, whether we are qualified or not. This is how powerful the mantra is. So much of benefit is there. So all we need is sincerely chant this holy name on every bead. 108 beads are there. Leave out the one which has thread attached. That's the 109th one. Start the one next to that. And on each bead, you chant the full mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You pull the beads towards you, down. And then go to the next bead. Chant the full mantra. Then again, go to the next bead. So in this way, let's complete 108 times. And the only thing to remember is purely try to hear the holy name. Krishna is not different from his sound. The sound has everything. Krishna, when you chant Krishna, Krishna is there on your tongue. When you hear Krishna, Krishna enters your ears. So all we need to do is try to carefully hear every syllable we chant, every mantra we chant, and try to shut out everything else during this process. Next 10 minutes. So any questions before we chant? And chant outside. We all chant together, synchronously we chant. Produce the sound, you hear the sound. So let's take the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru, and the Panchatattva before. So we chant their mantras first, and then we can chant Hare Krishna together. First repeat after me the Guru Gauranga mantras. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. So now let's chant together for the next 10 minutes, 108 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.